Hey everybody, and welcome back to Big Blonde and Beautiful, the podcast. If you're new here, my name's Kara Howie, and each week I pick up a new piece of media and I talk about fat representation in it and whether or not I think it's positive or negative. This week we're going to be talking about Bridget Jones's Diary, but before we get into that, I want to address a couple things. So, hello Echo. This is my cat. You might see him or his tail in the frame. There's nothing I can do about it. Anyway, so if you're watching the video, you might have noticed that the background has changed, and yes, I just moved last week, so I no longer have my studio, which is sad because, I only got to use it for half of a season, but hopefully in the nearer future, I will have a studio, but right now, this is what we got to work with, and hey, you don't come here for the background. Come here for the discussion and hopefully some laughs. So let's get into this week's topic. This week, we're focusing on the main character, Bridget Jones, played by Renee Zellweger. And let me tell you, it took all of my might to finish that movie. Like 20 minutes in, I was ready to be done. So I did it for you. It's definitely an early 2000s movie. That's for dang sure. And I just cannot. I had to watch it in like 1.25 speed just to get through it because I was like, I want this to be over. Here we are. And yeah, I got through it. So in case you are lucky and have not watched Bridget Jones's Diary, I'm going to give a little synopsis of the movie for you. So, at the start of the new year, 32-year-old Bridget decides it's time to take control of her life and start keeping a diary. Now, the most provocative, erotic, and hysterical book on her bedside table is the one she's writing. With a taste for adventure and an opinion on every subject, from exercise to men, to food to sex and everything in between, she's turning the page on a whole new life. Sure, we'll go with that. She does keep a diary, hence the name, Bridget Jones's Diary. That diary is solely to track her weight and how many cigarettes she has and how many drinks she has. Not a very positive vibe right from the get-go. If you don't know what Renee Zellweger looks like, here's a picture. She is thin. She gained like some weight for this role. I want to say it was like 20 pounds, which is nothing, but okay. And even though she gained those 20 pounds, guess what? Still skinny. Obviously, in a thicker stick situation, she's definitely a stick because she's not fat at all. And a lot of the movie and the jokes center around the fact that she is insecure in her body and thinks she's fat and thinks everyone else thinks she's fat. So, yeah. And there's also 2 other movies, which I don't plan on watching anytime soon. But I guess if you guys really want them, I will. But she gained weight for the first and second movie. And then she didn't gain weight for the third one. Despite, good for her, I guess, for standing up. But also she's pregnant in that one. So technically she should be even fuller, But it is what it is. They shouldn't have cast her in the first place. They should have cast... I don't even want to say that they should have cast a fat person because this whole series is super degrading and horrible. And I wouldn't want to subject anyone to that, especially fat people who already sometimes go through those things. So I don't know. I just think it shouldn't have been made, I guess. So the whole premise, besides the diary, is she's like, I cannot be single anymore. I don't want to be a spinster. Because, that's the worst thing a woman could be, is a spinster. So then she has, like many women in these movies, such great taste in men. So good. First, we have Daniel Cleaver, played by Hugh Grant. which I have my own opinions on Hugh Grant in general, but Daniel Cleaver, not a great guy. We'll get into him in a minute. And then we also have Colin Firth, which I really like Colin Firth. I think he's handsome. He plays Mark Darcy, and I also have my qualms with him as well. So we'll get into that too. But she's like pursuing these two emotionally unavailable men and expects success from this. Yeah. Anyway, like I'm saying, you can definitely tell that it's an early 2000s movie because I feel like these type of rom-com movies in the early 2000s had us as women convinced that the only way to be thin was to be underweight. And even then, it was iffy. And the only way to find love is to compromise and be okay with the bare minimum or less. So I think movies have evolved slightly from that vantage point, but we still have a long way to go. Anyway, let's get into the first guy. Bachelor number 1 is Daniel Cleaver. He is her boss, which already is icky. In order to get his attention, she wears like see-through clothes at the office. Which I mean, like, get it, I guess, but like not at the office. And it's just all around icky. They like are messaging, and she's like swooning over him being like, nice tits. Like, what? He's just a sexist, cheating piece of garbage. And yeah, so they get together and they like go on this little holiday and they're having a good time, and they'd been like shagging for a while, and then he has to leave for business. We all know where this is going. So he has to leave for business, and so he leaves Bridget there. And then she leaves the party and comes to see him because some stuff happened, which is kind of unimportant. But and who does she find but a tall, skinny, like literally could be, probably is a supermodel, in his bathroom, naked. And he tried to hide it, but then she saw the woman's coat when she was leaving and was like, someone's here. So then they break up, and she's sad, and she's like, I'm gonna be alone forever. And that brings us to Mark Darcy, who she meets near the beginning of the film. He's a divorcee. Her mom is trying to set her up with him in the beginning at a Christmas party, I believe. And he's definitely better than Daniel, but like not by a lot. I still think that he is very wishy-washy and kind of toxic, because guess who he's with for a majority of this movie. And I'm sorry, Renee, but I would choose her over you in a heartbeat. It's the woman who played Miss Honey in Matilda. And the girls who get it. Okay? And I was like, Miss Honey, what are you doing here? But anyway, Mark Darcy is dating her. I can't tell if it's off and on, or if it's on and then he's just being weird and trying to like get with Bridget. It's a lot. But one of the things I can say for him is he is at least somewhat of a decent human being and treats her like a person, which Daniel did not. And he tells her that he likes her for who she is now. And she's like, what? And her friends are like, you mean he doesn't want you to lose weight? He doesn't want you to drink less? He doesn't want, like, all these things. And she's like, no, he just loves me for me. And I'm like, sweetheart, that is the bare minimum. if someone wants to be with you, yeah, they should like you for who you are. Doesn't mean you can't grow, but like, to start off with, this whole thing is just ugh. But in the end, they kind of end up together. Yeah, kind of. He leaves Miss Honey, which good. Because then someone better can come along for her. But, so yeah, I don't really know what else to say about the movie. Other than, it's bad. I don't understand how the 2000s had us in such a chokehold of thinking that certain actresses were fat when they weren't. Like, how is Renee Zellweger gaining 20 pounds making her fat? It's not. I wouldn't even consider her mid-size at that point. She was still thin. Like, nothing, it makes zero sense. And apparently it's based on books, which, considering the humor in this movie, which is very sexist and misogynistic and just gross, I don't know if I'd want to take the time to read those books. Like, if she is described the same way. Okay, I just looked it up. The author, Bridget Jones's Diary, not fat either. Why are you writing about fat people if you're not fat? That's why she gets it so bad. So that explains a lot. So there you have it, folks. That explains so much. So much. Well, to be honest, I didn't have a lot to say about this movie other than it was really bad, and I hope I never have to watch it again. If this is your favorite movie, I'm sorry, but also, please go watch more movies, because if this is your favorite, that is sad. Final verdict, negative or positive? I know it comes as a surprise, but I'm definitely gonna say negative, just because she is so self-critical. She hates her body. It's a point of conversation all the time in a negative way. And not only that, but she's literally played by a skinny person. So definitely negative. That is all for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please, if you did, rate us 5 stars, follow us, subscribe, comment, do all the things. You can follow the podcast on social media, on TikTok at bbb.thepodcast and Instagram at bbb.podcast. You can follow myself on all social media at Carolina Howie. And until next week, stay fat and fabulous. Bye.